Hi, I'm Yasmin Choudhury and otherwise known as Miss Yasmin is Yasmin or Missy. And I guess that I've started this YouTube channel because I am a social entrepreneur. Basically what that means is I'm setting up a business that will do hopefully a lot of good and change things for the better. The other thing is I work a lot in developing country, namely Bangladesh. So I'm a British woman, I'm in London, and I guess this is my journey and what I'll be talking about. I'll be talking about social enterprise, developing world, also about Muslim women. I think it's really important that Muslim women like myself, who were born and brought up in London and are older, we actually get a voice, and perhaps somewhere out there is a young kid just like myself, a little girl who was very lost and confused, and I don't know, by watching this you might learn or maybe be inspired or maybe even have some fun. The other thing is I love Bangladesh. Now that's my heritage. My late father, Alhaj Abdul-Makid Chowdhury, he came to London in the 1950s and then he worked really hard. He told me that he went to Luton and there he was working for British Leyland at the time, and as soon as he managed to get some money after having been in a car factory, he got together with some friends and then he opened up a restaurant in London, and after that he had a few more restaurant businesses, and thankfully he was able to do really well, and he sent a lot of money back home, and out of 8 brothers and 4 or 5 sisters I think, he was so incredible. He started to help a lot of poor people back in Bangladesh. So I'm going to be talking a lot about my daddy. I love him. He died in 2004. One day I will do a YouTube episode about him, but I don't think today's the day. What else? Yeah, I guess I run my brand, Lovedesh. It's a British philanthropic brand. Philanthropy means for the love of humanity, I guess. And what Lovedesh, what I'm trying to do, it's my idea. I want the rest of the world to change the way they see and experience the poorest countries in the world. The correct term for them is least developed countries, okay? LDC. But a lot of people colloquially, and I always put it in speech marks, call it third world. And I'm starting with Bangladesh, and I want to have Lovedesh change how the whole world sees, interacts with and buys from a country like Bangladesh. But I have decided that while I do Lovedesh, and of course that's got different categories within Lovedesh, like for example I call it Lovedesh Scout. I go on the hunt and I look for what's really great in terms of food, in terms of design and handicrafts, and in terms of travel. While that's Lovedesh, I don't think it's right for me to produce or bring products from the third world for people in the Western Hemisphere to buy, because you need someone at grassroots level to supply it all, and that's why I created MsYiY Foundation. MsYiY stands for the initials of my late father and my grandmother, his mum. So AMC, Abdul-Makid Chowdhury. Ariza was my grandmother, and she was quite incredible because she actually was a widow after the war and raising all these children, 15 children, alone. Although her elder sons were of adult age, it left children like my father at a very young age, quite destitute. And I thought that I would merge the two, my father's initials with Ariza, and then you get MsYiY Foundation. And you know what's really cool? My dream is that MsYiY will have a centre in Bangladesh, Sylhet. Now, this is where I'm going to start talking more about my journey and my dream and my vision. This MsYiY centre will actually supply the Lovedesh products. And I hope that makes sense, but it will make more and more sense because you'll have to bear with me. I've never done a video before. It's the first time, and I'm actually doing this from my bedroom. So MsYiY Centre, slowly, not now, is going to be raised up as a building, and I'm going to call it the Amcariza Raw Centre, Rural Artisan Women's Centre. And in there, they're going to have a floor where all these lovely ladies or gentlemen are going to be working, and I'm going to get the best of the handicraft and artisan skills to fuse them into products which I bring across, and with British artisans together make them into Lovedesh products. So, you know, I won't overwhelm you guys too much, but that's why I'm bringing out the Lovedesh Army bracelet. We've got the Lovedesh Atelier, which is ready-made, beautiful boutique style garments. But that's not now. That's obviously once I get a lot of money, because to build a building like that, it's going to be very tough. But that will also kind of like make sure that I never forget making sure I get pennies to the pockets of local people out in the ground in developing world. And I just wanted to say that it's been really tough. I've been doing this now for 3 years. I registered Lovedesh in January 2012. And I'll talk more as to why and how I came up with the idea of Lovedesh, and how, ta-da, so exciting, I'm actually hopefully launching Lovedesh in August at a 3-day event in London. Now I can't tell you the location because I'm just waiting for the contract to be signed, but it's all been a bit hideous at the moment for me as a social entrepreneur, because I tell you why. Ramadan is starting. I am a Muslim, and I was born into a very, very strict Orthodox community. So like I said, my heritage is Bangladeshi, but the kind of family I come from, it's very, very strict. And I had some really, really bad stuff happen back in March. After 3 years of working so hard, slogging, and, you know, I call myself a social entrepreneur on a shoestring. And trust me, there's going to be videos about that, how to, you know, look good on very, very small money, how to actually run a operation internationally with very little money. But after working so hard for a few years, in March I got the most devastating news that you see, my daddy, my father had left a plot of land in a city called Sylhet in Bangladesh, and it's very prime commercial area. And what had happened is that I was using a room in a ramshackle building, and out of that I was also helping to caretake my late father's estate, having come across it in 2013. It was utterly neglected. There was fraud, prostitution. Oh, it was awful. And I handled it all by myself because my own family did not care, refused to actually get involved. And I was so distressed because actually this land helps a lot of people locally, because what I realised is that even though it's a good size of land, right, a lot of people are living there who are on a very low or impoverished income threshold. And what has often happened is they hire and are renting little shacks so that they can work in the city and then send money back to their families in rural villages. And in 2013, I stepped up, I guess, because I found a couple of things that really disturbed me. Firstly, and again I'll talk more about it, in my family they never told me, and did you know this? I had no idea that in Islam a woman is guaranteed inheritance portions. So basically, if you have a dad or a husband or a son, I believe, and he dies, then Islam guarantees you a slice of their estate. You have to be given it as a woman. And it's really surprising because I was never taught that. I was taught to cover my hair, to read namaz, to fast, not to drink alcohol, not to be with boys, all those things, not to gamble. But they never ever told me that actually Islam gives women huge amounts of financial rights. And in 2013, on one of my recce research trips to Bangladesh, I remember firstly opening up a steel cabinet and finally finding my late father's will written in Bangladesh, dated in 1997, and then another short piece of paper, 2003. And sorry, I just want to be clear, I guess it wasn't so much a will, because bless, my dad was a bit, how shall I say, taken advantage of. I think he thought he was doing a will, but since I've shown it to lawyers, all it is just a piece of paper with his desires, and then it was witnessed. I found that from 1997, and then a further follow-up document which I'm going to put online, and in it, dated 2003, is his desire to remind my family and all beneficiaries that 1/3, I think, yes, 1/3 of his estate should be handed over for the benefit of poor, for Islam, etc. Now, my father died in 2004. It's now 2015. Nothing's happened. And because nothing happened, I started to speak up about it and started, talking. And I'm here ready now to reveal that as a woman, when you start challenging and daring to question men in my kind of strict, orthodox, backward community, there are consequences. And those consequences have seen me actually handle a lot of what I guess is called and defined as honour abuse. It's really awful, it's really horrible. You get ostracised, you get cut off, you get isolated, and also you get really, really badly told off. But you see, I kept it all quiet and I was able to take it, even though I got on and carried on doing Lovedesh and Amcariza. But what has happened is that I had a research base, and I started using that because I was thinking, okay, my family haven't done anything, well, it's quite handy, I'm planning to launch and work amongst grassroots people anyway. Why don't I just get a room, do a little bathroom, and then use that as a base to run my field projects in Bangladesh, so that I can actually do a lot of work for Lovedesh and Amcariza. And in March I got reports, and it was really awful, that apparently the research base that I had padlocked had been smashed into and all items looted. And it really shocked me, and I immediately went to the Bangladesh High Commission, and I suspected that my own family were at the back of this. And I went to them, and they're the one who advised me and said, you know what, because they've been fantastic, by the way. Oh my gosh, the Bangladesh Embassy in London, they've been so incredible. They told me, Yasmin, you've got to be really, really careful. Please don't be naive. Please do understand that we see a lot of disputes all across the country in Bangladesh, and you would not believe how many women are being denied their inheritance, and how, when it comes to money and land, the people you think would not hurt you may end up hurting you. And they were so lovely, and they got a letter written, and they said, always be safe, and as soon as you get to Bangladesh, you make sure you connect with the local police. And in March, in April, I finally flew out on the 24th of April, and I spent 6 weeks in Bangladesh. And during my 6 weeks, as you'll find out, God, I think I aged. I mean, I'm already not as young as I look, I promise you. But I recall spending 6 weeks alone, being absolutely frightened, living out of a suitcase. And when I got there, I found that strangers were offering me shelter, because I did find, and I was able to confirm reports, that my padlock had been smashed by my very own immediate family. That includes my mother, my brother, my elder sister had gone and jumped on a plane, and they'd done this with no notice, no written alert, no discussion, no nothing. And I happen to think that this is punishment, this is honour, this is them punishing me for daring to actually stand up and be independent and have my own mind and question them and call them out. You see, because I think they got embarrassed that I've been saying as to why it's been 11 years, and firstly, why us women have not been given our inheritance. Secondly, why my father's wishes have not been granted and, ignored. It really distresses me, because he did so much work. And what's been really shocking is to see the response that I've been getting from them since, because it's quite hysterical. And it's backward, and I've had to take the most difficult decision in my life, where I am having to report members of my own family, not only to Bangladesh police but to British police. And in all of this madness and this chaos, you know, it's really hard. It's horrible. It's horrible what's happening to me. And you know what the further sadness is the people who are paid to help me, you know, people like my MP, GP, you know, various charities that you call up, they're not there for you. They won't help. Nobody wants to get involved. Nobody wants to talk about it. I've written to so many organisations. One of them, for example, Muslim Women's Network, just so let me down. It's been absolutely shocking. And I really hope Shaista Gur, the founder, you're listening to this and watching this. And you know what? Your organisation should be really ashamed that last year you were prepared to actually take my op-ed or my articles, but then because a member of my family wrote to you threatening to sue you, you completely ignored me and never contacted me ever again. And when I found out that Muslim Women Network had done this, I recall being so shocked and thinking, if that's what a female organisation can do to me, well, of course, you know, others are going to let me down. And that includes my own MP, Steve Reed. I've been writing to him. He's a Labour MP. And I remember I wrote to him even a year ago saying, please help me. I'm really suffering because I'm trying to actually speak up and out on the issue of financial rights for women, especially Muslim women in UK. And I mean, I know it's not related, Bangladesh. And he ignored me. He didn't even reply. And then just before the election, he was at a hustings. I saw him and I went up to him afterwards and I said, look, Steve, it's really not very nice because I did write to you and you didn't reply back. And he did apologise. I said, oh, I'm really sorry. I have 10,000 caseloads that I've been handling. And I said, yeah, I appreciate that. You've got 10,000, but I'm, you know, still that person that I really needed help. It was quite serious. And I wrote to you saying, could you at least help me with regard to the stress and the abuse I'm getting for having to speak up and stand up on stuff that's going on really bad behind the closed doors of families like mine, and perhaps you can just get me some help. And I never heard back from you. And you promised me that day, I think it was in May, at that hustings, he said, oh, don't worry, you know, get in touch with me in the future, I'll try and help. Well, in April, when I went to Bangladesh and I found that my family had done this and they've destroyed all my research projects out in Bangladesh. All the projects are halted at the moment, you know, including funding that I had got for a little orphan boy to be educated and put into a British boarding school who's got no mum and dad. It's so sad. And his family were quite keen, his distant relatives, to see him through because he was very bright. I wrote to Steve Reed. I still haven't had an answer. So Steve Reed, MP, British Labour, please, if you actually manage to read my letter, even though I called up your office a couple of weeks ago and I said, please, can you bring this to Steve's attention? If you could, for the love of humanity, reply to me and try and help me, that would be very helpful. I think the other people I've been writing to is the British Ambassador, Robert Gibson, in Dhaka. I've written to Philip Hammond. And I'm saying to people that it's really unfair. I even wrote to, is it Justine Greening? She's the International Development, you know, DFID. I wrote to her and I said, and I'm saying to all these people, look, there are British women like me with heritage from developing world. We are trying to go back and do something good. But it's really damn hard when you've got wolves on your back. And, you know, in the attempt to actually get, you know, impoverished people empowered and sustainable, my own empowerment is being affected, and my own ability to do the work that I do as a startup social enterprise is proving a nightmare because really bad stuff is happening. And I can't have British citizens, even if they're members of my own family, thinking that they can jump on a plane, go to Bangladesh and smash padlocks And then they're sending letters that, you know, to local authorities using their stature as British citizens to get one up on me. It's really not right. Anyway, I do feel that I'm rambling a bit, and this is my first introduction video. I'm really sorry if I've gone on and on. I think I might try and make it better by streamlining a bit, but my life is so chaotic at the moment. There's Ramadan starting. I'm going to try and keep as many as I can. Can't promise it will be all of them. I'm in London, and don't forget, I've got to get ready for this 3-day launch event in Bangladesh, for which I've got to find sponsorship. I'm so stressed. I am so stressed. I've got to find sponsorship. I've got to get a team, and just going back to the August event, it's 3 days over the August bank holiday, and I've decided to fly in a team from Bangladesh who are going to come and launch the wood-fired curry, because yes, I'm also bringing a brand new curry to British people. So that's why I decided that this video will be really handy, okay? I will start launching, you know, video diaries, I guess, of my activity and how it's going. So all I can say is tune in, share, you know, use the hashtag MsYiY, Miss Yasmin is Yasmin, and find me on Twitter at Yasmin is Yasmin, and yeah, why have I called it Miss Yasmin is Yasmin? I guess because, you know what, I got so sick and tired all my life. Whenever I say something or do something, I always told, why are you doing this? Why do you say that? Why do you behave this way? And after a while, I stopped trying to explain, and now I just say, well, that's just who I am. It's Yasmin being Yasmin. Anyway, sorry if it's a bit manic. I'm not sure if this is a good thing. Is it a good thing to post this video? I don't know. Maybe because my head's a bit, you know, all over the place sometimes because I'm dealing with this international situation. It is a bit freakish, and I've got a lot of freakish people in my community and my family that I'm handling. But the good news is I'm still sane, I'm not going to give up, and I will prevail. And this is a personal message to my family who are watching, I hope. I want you to know that, you know what, I feel really sorry. There must be something really unhappy in your lives for you to go and dismantle and smash all my, or attempt to smash my projects out in Bangladesh, and to do harm to Lovedesh and Amcariza, when all it's doing is doing real good. I would hate it for you to work against me, but that's your choice, because I can promise you this, my family, I will never stop. You see, there's a reason why I'm really glad my late father really trained me well, because he was very different and he was dynamic, and I realised that a light bulb went out the day he died on the 23rd of March 2004. And because that light bulb has gone, we're all my family are all in darkness, and I really urge you to stop, think, and actually you can either be part of helping me change the world for the better, or, like I said, you can choose to work against me. But if you do and you choose to, know this, I will prevail. You can intimidate me as much as you want, but I will never ever stop, okay? I will put third world countries like Bangladesh on the map. I will ensure that new sustainable model for poverty alleviation is introduced. I will ensure that, you know what, slowly. I'm not about trying to rescue millions one by one. If I can help one family become sustainable, and I can help that family also learn to respect women and help them give women their financial rights, then I can die happy, and I will never ever stop. So that's why I'm just letting you know it's pointless, it's futile. Whatever you think of me, you know, I don't need you sending me messages about how, you know, it's really wrong of me to take selfies with strange men. These are my team and volunteers or people from remote villages taking pictures with me. You can't come and tell me that, oh, you know what, I've got to remember to fast and I've got to cover my head and I've got to read the Quran. You know what? I'm just, Yasmin is just Yasmin, all right? And I'm on my own quest for self-determination. And I think that, you know what, you should respect any human being who's trying to do the best that he or she can in very difficult circumstances. I would also remind you, I don't have anyone. I don't have anyone supporting me, and I don't need anyone. And you know what, if I can do all of what I've done all alone on a shoestring, even though I've been asking for years your support, even though I've been asking you, once I found out in the last few years, to hand over the portion that my father left for me, and you know, the fact that my brother doesn't, my only brother doesn't, even despite all of that, I am getting by. Because I get by because, you know what, there is nothing that's going to stop me. I will not rest until I see Lovedesh really successful, and also the Amcariza Centre, the RAW Centre, the Amcariza RAW, Rural Artisan Women's Centre, up and running. Because one day my dream is all of that will be rolled out across every single 48 designated third world least developed country, as well as helping those regions in conflict like Syria, like Gaza, like Iraq, all those places that are really suffering and trying to get their folks back on a sustainable life cycle. I'm not going to stop. Anyway, God, that was a bit intense. I might have to try and find the next video. Do the next video is a bit fun. I don't know. What do you think? Anyway, if you enjoyed, remember to subscribe, and also find me at Twitter at Yasmin is Yasmin. Thank you for listening. Bye.